Hello everybody and welcome to Storm Reads, and today I am going to be doing kind of a weekly wrap up, and I was going to do a vlog, but that just kind of fell by the wayside because my reading just wasn't really there, and I was a little all over the place with my reading. I did manage to read 6 books. All of them pretty much were audiobooks except for one, which is a graphic novel. And I veered off of my TBR. Like 3 of these books was on my TBR and 3 of them wasn't. And when I get to the books that I am currently reading, you will find out like why my reading was kind of all over the place. But let's just talk about the books that I have gotten to. And so I finished How to Train Your Dragon by Cressida Cow. This is just a super fun middle grade book. It's just super cute. It's about, what's his name? Hiccup Horrendous Haddock the Third. And he's telling the story about, he's a real big dragon whisperer that he when he's older, but this is like how that came to happen, and he's telling his story about whenever he was young and had to get his own dragon for the first time, and the things that didn't go quite right with the dragons and getting into trouble and all that kind of stuff. And it was just so much fun. But I think what made it so much fun was the fact that I listened to it on audiobook and David Tennant was the narrator, and he is such a great middle grade narrator because he can do all these fantastic and fun voices, and yeah, it just made this a whole lot of fun. I gave it 4 stars. So the next book I listened to was Snobbery with Violence by MC Beaton, or I think her name was Marion something on the cover, but it's AKA, it's like MC Beaton, and I'm just used to that name. And so this one is a cozy mystery. It was set in the Edwardian area, and it really kind of reminded me a lot of like a Jane Austen novel, except for with the mystery. But except I wasn't really expecting so much of like character building that there was in the beginning, and like the mystery didn't happen until the middle, and I was expecting like, more, I guess, mystery. And so that some people will love that more than others. To me, I was a little bit bored because I was expecting like more mystery and not, all this about this scandal that Rose has. And it's all about this guy, this Captain Cathcart, and how he finds out that the guy that Rose is wanting to like go off with is not really a nice person, and they get that stopped, and so now she's got this scandal, and her parents trying to deal with this scandal, and of course Rose is not happy about this captain guy, and so she could care less about seeing him ever again. But then about halfway through, they're at this like party type thing, and they're with some friends, and they're at this place where a murder happens, and then the Captain Cathcart is the one that is trying to solve the mystery and the murder, and he asks for Rose helps him a little bit, and somebody else, and then it kind of picks up a little bit. So like after like the halfway mark, I was a lot more interested in it than I was at the beginning and everything, and I did like it enough that I would probably try the second one. Actually, I have got the second one on my Hoopla. I just need to get to it because I did enjoy it enough that I would like to. It's just the first part was a little slow and boring for me. So I give it 3 stars because I did like it, and I'm kind of curious to see what happens with Rose and this Captain Cathcart, because at the end of it, you kind of know where it might be heading with each character. Not necessarily the characters together, but with each character, like there's something that might be happening in their life, and so I'm kind of curious to see what might happen. And so yeah, it was pretty good. So the next audiobook I picked up was I have Fireworks in Paradise. This was not on my TBR, but it is a book on my SAS list because On my SAS list, I have, or serious about series, I have the TJ Jensen series. I only need to finish 3 books on that series to get it done, and I can check that one off. And so they're really quick. This was like probably a little over 5-hour listen, and I listen fairly quickly at normally like 1.75 to 2 times the speed, so they go by really quick. So I finished that one in one day, and it was cute. It took me a while to kind of get back into the story. It's been a couple of years since I've listened to any of these books in this series, so I was kind of thrown by the relationship angle in this one because I had forgotten, like, she was dating somebody else in the earlier books. And so I just don't remember this, like, change in relationship. But I'm like, surely it must have happened in the previous book, but it's just been too long. But once I kind of got that back in my head and everything, and how that was going, I really enjoyed it. I give it 4 stars. This one has, TJ is called away from her vacation at the beginning because her father is in a car accident, and the guy that was driving the car, he has died. He was a judge. It was a friend of theirs, and they're thinking that somebody was out to get the judge, and her father just happened to be in the car when it happened. And so she's not a happy camper, and so she is determined she's going to figure out who it is that put her father's life in jeopardy like that, because he's it was a little touch and go at the beginning. And so she wasn't sure if he was going to pull out of it. And so she is ready to get whoever it was. And there's a new partner to the deputy in town who is not really a big fan of civilians getting in the way of police work. So she's kind of got to work around that and everything. And yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. 4 stars. Can't wait to get to the last 2 to finish up this series. So I'll probably be doing that pretty soon, just because they're really quick and I can get them done and get one series checked off of my series about series list that I have. And the next one is one that wasn't on my TBR for this month either, and that is Mint Condition Murder by Ellery Adams. This is the 9th book, I believe, in the Antiques and Collectibles series by her. And it was just by chance that I was looking through some of the audiobooks on Hoopla, and I ran across that it was on there, and it's the latest book in that series, and so this one's not on my series about series list, but I can also check this off as being caught up on a series. So I like that. I wanted to stay caught up on it, and so I just went ahead and listened to it, and it was really good. I also enjoyed this one and gave it 4 stars. And this one, it has Molly and her mom are going to like some kind of antique place or something, a shop, and they were supposed to meet this lady there, and when they get there, they don't, it looks really quiet, like it should have been open, but it didn't look like it was open. But then the door was, where they could go in, and inside they find the body of the lady that they were supposed to be meeting. And so this, of course, she's going to try to figure out what happened. She's writes for a magazine about antiques and collectibles, but she is very good at solving the crimes, and a lot of times the police kind of let her come in and help them with it, especially when it involves like the antiques and things like that. Her friend is a policeman. She's gotten to know him over the years or course of this series and everything, and it was just really good. There's a little bit of a love thingy between him, the cop, and a friend of hers and everything. So it was kind of nice to see the main character is not with the policeman, but she's friends with the policeman, and to see her and her husband, and they've got like a kid. I mean, there's a lot of transition within the series, and to see that the policeman gets him a lady in this one too, it was kind of fun, because you like him, and he liked Molly at the beginning, but it just wasn't going to go anywhere, and so it was kind of nice to see him have a love, so that was kind of cool. But yeah, I enjoyed it. 4 stars. It was really good. And so one book that I did have on my TBR, which was Murder in Murray Hill, And this was just one of the audiobooks that I was just hoping to get to if I had time, because I really like this series and it is on my Series About Series list. And this is the 16th book in the Gaslight series by Victoria Thompson. 5 stars, loved it. I am really, really starting to really like this series. Like, it has ramped up since what happened with things in the 15th book. And I was just so curious about what was going to be going on since what happened in that book, to see how it was going to progress into the 16th book. And it was very enjoyable. I really, really liked it. I love Sarah Brandt, and I love the detective Frank Malloy. They are such a cute couple. And this one, though, I will say was, I felt like it was a little bit grittier for a cozy mystery. Some of the content, anyway, because it is about this guy's girl is missing his daughter, and they're wanting to find out. And Frank is a detective, but I can't really say exactly what's happening with Frank now, because I think it would be kind of spoilery. But there are just some things that are happening with Frank anyway. But he is kind of taken off the case, but then he's not really off the case, because he's going to be figuring it out anyway. But I can't really say why these things are happening, because it would kind of spoil. But anyway, so he's still going to figure out what's going on, and he sets a trap for this Lonely Hearts type of guy, because he writes these ads in the paper and gets a woman to reply to them. And he's kind of like, he doesn't matter what you look like, he's just looking for a wife, kind of a thing. But no, that's not exactly what he's looking for, because he is a really bad man, and the things that he does to these women that he gets, and you find out that there's been several of them, and all this stuff. And so it's been a little bit grittier, I think, than the previous books. But I mean, it is set at like a time period where things are just kind of gritty anyway, I think. But yeah, it was just kind of a little bit grittier. But Sarah gets involved a lot in this one too, and her maid that she has, Maeve, that takes care of the little one and stuff, she gets kind of involved in helping out a little bit too, and that was interesting. And yeah, and just the dynamics and the things that are happening between Frank and Sarah and everything, because of what happened in the 15th book, it was just really, really good. And I just suggest that if you like historical mysteries, that you read the series and start with book 1, because there's got a lot of growth and a lot of things happen and shift and things, and I think you would get the most out of it if you started with book 1. Then the last book I have that I read was the Spy School graphic novel by Stuart Gibbs. Now, y'all know that last year I read from book 1 to book 9 and caught up with the Spy School series. And this got sent to me unsolicited. I didn't ask for it, but I thought it was really cool because they sent me the graphic novel version of the very first book. So it was kind of fun to go back and to read the first book, but in graphic novel form, and to just see what they thought the character should look like. I will say that I don't know. I mean, I thought of him as like a little, Ben as like kind of like a little geeky guy, but I don't know if I exactly thought of him as like looking like that. This guy is Alexander Hale, and yeah, I could kind of see him looking like that. He's kind of goofy and everything, but I think I still saw him looking a little bit more like the Get Smart agent guy. But yeah, so but it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I really like the graphic style. Is really nice and everything. And so yeah, it was cute. I hope they do some more of these in the series and they don't just do the first one. But I don't know. I haven't seen anything where it's going to be like a series, but I did like this. If you do like graphic novels and you want to try this series as a graphic novel, this comes out in February. So look for it in February. But yeah, it's so cute. So yeah, that's all the books that I read and everything. And so the books that I still have going. Okay, so Cameron Battle and the Hidden Kingdom by Jamar J. Perry. I didn't even read anything on. And I don't know if it's the book. I mean, I've liked it. It's okay. I just think that this other book that I was trying to put, I put this other book in ahead of it because I thought I was really going to like it, and then it kind of stalled me out. But I still need to get it done because me and my friend are going to, we're buddy reading it. We're going to be posting it on our blogs, and so I need to prioritize it. But then we had to push it back a week because neither one of us were really enjoying it, and that's really sad. And that one is An Impossible Imposter by Deanna Raybourn. It's the 7th book in the Veronica Speedwell series. And for some reason, I'm just not enjoying it. I'm not enjoying it. And I'm really, really bummed because this is like probably my most anticipated out of my most anticipated. This is the one. I love this series. Me and my friend have been buddy reading this series since book 2. We've always give it like 5 stars. And this one might be lucky to get 3. It may be able to eke out a 4 if the last half of the book is decent. I think my friend said she thought about giving it 3 stars, but she may give it 4 stars because of some animal sequences in the end that she liked. but yeah, she wasn't enjoying it very much either. But I do know that this book has been on my favorites list every year for the last few years, and I'm afraid it's not going to make the favorites list this year, and I'm really bummed about that. And I'm really bummed. But yeah, so I'm like 51% into that one. Finally, I've got over the 50% mark. And so I really need to make progress in that because I really need to get back to the Cameron Battle one and finish that one up. But it's slowed down my e-reading and things, and it's that I've just pushed these audiobooks in front of it, which is why I had all those other audiobooks that were not exactly on my TBR, but I just wasn't in the mood to pick up the ebook, and I just threw an audiobook on, and that's kind of how my reading went last week, and that's why I was like, the reading is just not going very well. And I was actually surprised that I even managed to get the 6 books that I did because I really wasn't reading much. So audiobooks for the win. And let's see. Oh, I am still reading on The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. I am 42% into it, I want to say, the audiobook. It has been, I have been a little bit bogged down. It's kind of been an up and down read for me. Like, I really enjoyed it at the beginning, and then it kind of sunk, and then it got interesting, and then it's kind of sunk, and then it's kind of gotten interesting again. So we'll see how it goes. I'm buddy reading this with a lot of people in my Buddy Reads Discord. I'll post the Discord down below if you ever want to join in on that and see what we're buddy reading and join in on any of the buddy reads. Or just, tell me what you're reading and have conversation. But there's one of the ladies has read it 2 or 3 times, I think she said. And so she's been really guiding us through it and telling us, just keep going, the humps, and everything, and how that what we read here will come into play later on if we just get ourselves through it. And that's really helped me because there's been a few times when I've just wanted to quit. But I keep going. I mean, it's like over 1,200 pages, and like the audiobook is the version I have, I think it was like 52 hours, and I'm finally like 28 hours left, I think, and so yeah, I'm gonna make it by the end of the month. I believe I'm going to, but yeah, it's been a struggle at some points, but. So I've enjoyed some and I haven't enjoyed some. So we'll see how I feel about it at the very end because I'm really not sure. I am also listening to this 1776 by David McCullough. And I haven't gotten very far into it yet. I'm still in chapter 2. But the chapters are like super long. So like the first chapter was pretty quick. And then the second chapter is like from page 20 to page 70, so it was a little bit longer, and so it's split up into these really long chapters, but it's got some really cool pictures in it, so I thought that was kind of cool, and everything. So I'm enjoying it as I don't know, as much as you can for nonfiction about the Revolutionary War. I, I can't say that I'm such a history buff that this is like so fascinating, but at the same time, I mean, it's interesting for what it is, and it's history, and I think everybody should read a little bit of history so that we don't forget about where we came and everything like that. How far we've came from, back then. So, yeah, it's not too bad. Oh, and I'm also listening to Class Reunions Are Murder by Libby Klein. It's the first book in the Poppy McAllister series. Gotta give myself some light listening with all the heavy listening that I'm doing and everything. And so, yeah, as of what I think I'm going to read once I get done with some of these, I have absolutely no clue. Because these books have taken me a while to get through them. So I guess you will see if I pop in any new books besides the ones that I'm currently reading next week whenever I do a weekly wrap up or whatever. So, have you read any of these books? Do any of these books sound interesting to you? Do you have a most anticipated book that has really bummed you out because it wasn't as good as you thought it would be? Let me know down in the comments. And hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Bye.